This meeting will be conducted as a Zoom webinar to allow for public participation and comments. The Contra Costa Transportation Authority does not condone hate speech in any form. We continually strive to make life better for all members of our community and create an atmosphere where everyone feels a sense of safety and belonging. We ask that anyone who wishes to speak does so with civility, respect, and kindness for others. Citizens will have 3 minutes to speak. It is requested that public speakers state their names and organizations, but providing such information is voluntary. Citizens participating in person wishing to speak should submit a public speaker card to the clerk. Citizens participating by Zoom wishing to speak should use the raise hand feature or dial *9 if participating via phone, and the chair or staff will call upon them at the appropriate time. Written public comments received in accordance with the teleconferencing special notice on the meeting agenda will be provided to the members. If authors of the written correspondence would like to speak, they should raise their hand in Zoom or submit a public speaker card, and the chair will call upon them at the appropriate time. All written correspondence received after that and during the meeting will be entered into the record. Thank you for participating in a meeting of the Contra Costa Transportation Authority.
Okay, next we'll conduct a roll call. Jackie?
Member Byrne?
Present.
Member Byron? Here. Member Wilson?
Here.
Member Foster? Member Karimi? Member Keeshan?
Here.
Member Olson?
Here.
Member Riley?
Here.
Member LeBau?
Here.
Member Simmons? Vice Chair Weeks?
Present.
Chair Sarmiento?
Here.
Okay, we have majority of members present with members Foster, Karimi, and Simmons absent.
All right, thank you, Jackie. The next item on the agenda is public comment. Jackie, have we received any written comment?
We have not received any written public comment under public comment.
Okay, and is there anyone wishing to speak during public comment on an item that is not a part of the agenda? So please submit a public speaker card or raise your virtual hand, and staff or I will call upon you.
No cards have been received. However, there are 2 hands raised under the attendees, so I'm going to let them in. Just one moment.
All right, thank you.
Okay, you all have 3 minutes. I'm going to start the timer in just one moment.
Who does?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Me, Danny. Okay. Thank you. I'm Danny Lanis. I'm speaking here today as a Richmond resident, and I just have a curiosity. I would like to know the status of the full roster and vacancies of the body, the agency at the time, because I was looking at the roster and there were some positions that were expiring last December, and so I wanted to know the status. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. And Brianna McNulty, if you'd like to speak, I will put the 3-minute timer up in just one moment. It's all yours.
Yeah, hi, my name is Brenna McNulty, and I'm a project planner with Parsons, and I'm part of the consultant team working with the CCTA on the feasibility study to connect both the Iron Horse and the Costa Canal recreational trails. And this project was presented to this body last July. And so just a brief update today, taking the opportunity to let you know that the feasibility study kicked off in the fall. And we will be presenting in March to this committee. And in the meantime, we will be circulating a fact sheet with some information about the feasibility study, three different proposed alignment routes. And we would appreciate feedback on those routes and just general comments about the project and the goals. And all the information on how to provide that will be in the fact sheet that will be distributed to all of you.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks for the public comment. Jackie, Colin, to address Danny's comment, if we could reach out to him and provide the rosters and terms, things like that.
Yes, we will follow up.
Okay,
And it looks like the people whose terms are expired are those that are absent today. So I wonder if that has anything to do with it.
okay, that concludes, actually, before I conclude public comment, any other committee member comments on those public comments? Okay, seeing none, that concludes public comment. Next item on the agenda is the consent calendar, which includes a summary of actions from the November 18th, 2024 meeting. Are there any changes or comments from committee members? All right, seeing none, Jackie, have we received any public comment on this item?
No public comment received.
Okay, I'd like to get a motion in a second.
I'd like to move that we approve the consent calendar, please.
Okay, have a motion by Vice Chair Weeks,
I'll second.
second from Committee Member Wilson. All right, Jackie, conduct a roll call vote, please.
Member Byrne?
Aye.
Member Byron?
Aye.
Member Wilson?
Aye.
Member Foster? Member Karimi? Member Keeshan?
Aye.
Member Olson?
Aye.
Member Riley?
Aye.
Member LeBau?
Abstain.
Member Simmons? Vice Chair Weeks?
Yes.
Chair Sarmiento?
Yes.
Okay, motion passes unanimously with members Foster, Karimi, and Simmons absent, and Member LeBau abstaining.
All right, thank you. So now we'll move on to regular items. Move to item 4A, which is a review of the draft Caltrans District 4 bike plan update. This item will be presented by Jasmine Stitt from Caltrans.
All right. Hi, everyone. Oh, look, it does work. Thank you so much for having me, for taking the time out of your busy agendas for me to present on the Caltrans Bay Area Bike Plan update. So I'm Jasmine Stitt. I work for Caltrans in the Office of Transit and Active Transportation, and we've been updating our bike plan that will identify barriers to cycling on and across the state highway system and prioritize resources for further bike improvements. And here, let's go next slide. There we go. Cool. All right. So just so you know, I've already presented on the bike plan update before, but we are updating our bike plan. We have one at it's 6 years old, and this is really a good opportunity for engagement. We don't engage our stakeholders at Caltrans nearly as often as we probably should, so we really wanted to check in with our 9-county Bay Area stakeholders and advocates to really see what it is that Caltrans has been doing, what we can be doing better, and what are your priorities. We also wanted to performance track our bike plan that we completed in 2018 to look at what we've done, what we haven't been doing, and what we could be doing better. We wanted to build on our success and identify more paths moving forward for more biking improvements on the state highway system. We're actually the first district to have a bike plan, and we're the first district to update it. So your feedback's important because, well, I don't know, it's all bike plans are important, but all the districts will be looking at this one and using it as kind of a roadmap of how Caltrans is going to be updating their bike plans. So we've been doing this for a while. It's actually been over 2 years, but we've been doing a whole bunch of things. We've been doing stakeholder engagement for the past couple of years. We have a draft best practices. We have a story map. We did a lot of analysis. We did all these things, and we now finally are in the final stretches, and we finally have a bike plan. We have an updated list of location-based needs, and we now have a draft public bike plan that we're going to release this week. So you guys are getting a sneak peek before it's publicly released, and we're going to get hopefully feedback from you all, from the 9-county region, and from our general public to have a final bike plan sometime in spring or summer. Summer's probably more likely. Of a final bike plan that'll hopefully incorporate all of your comments and the comments received from the public. So we have a draft bike plan. Yay, that's what it looks like. It has a lot of things in it. We're not going to go over all of them. I'm going to highlight some specific things that I thought that this committee might have a couple opinions on. We have, the normal things that you would expect in a bike plan, visions and goals, an overview, but really I'm going to focus on our progress report, what we've been hearing. I'm going to focus a little bit on existing condition and needs analysis so that, these are things that are a little bit more different than our last bike plan, so So our progress report looks at what we've been doing well and what we haven't been doing well. And we're going to talk first about the first one on, things that Caltrans has been doing in the last couple of years. We have a brand new, newish Director Policy 37, which is our Complete Streets policy. We have a number of design information bulletins that seem dry, but they are supplements to the Highway Design Manual, and they really help move Caltrans forward in putting comfortable, convenient, connected bikeways. So they've been some wins. We've also have performance metrics. So it started in 2021. Caltrans now tracks bike ped performance metrics for Caltrans-led projects, and we are actually building more Class 4s than ever in Shop Cycle. So Shop Cycle 2024, we have quite a bit of separated bikeways. So bike lanes in the past have been okay. That was a good start back then. But Caltrans facilities tend to be have a lot of traffic and a lot of volume and a lot of high speeds. So really, we're moving forward to doing more Class 4s, separated bikeways, and So those are our things that we've been doing. We also have a quick map of just different bikeways that have been built throughout the 9-county Bay Area. A thing like this, we've been pretty good at some of these. We even actually have done 4 road diets in Caltrans right-of-way, which was actually surprising to me because we get so much pushback on any time we reduce motor vehicle capacity. One of the things we haven't been doing that's left out of this is protected intersections in Caltrans right-of-way. We actually didn't build a single one between 2018 and now, although there's a couple under construction right now. I didn't count them if they weren't completed yet. We have a couple, actually it's in this county, it's in San Pablo and El Cerrito, that we're gonna have a couple protected intersections in Caltrans right-of-way, which will be our first built in so long. We definitely need more intersection, a concentration on intersection improvements in Caltrans right-of-way. We also have a list in our bike plan of the challenges. This is things Caltrans has not been doing so well. Yeah, we had a lot of feedback from both this body and other bodies that we've been looking at of like things Caltrans needs to do better, and we think that we've encapsulated them in our challenges page. So we have 2 pages in our report about it. I don't have to go into, I'm not going to go into all of them, but maintenance is an issue in Caltrans right-of-way. Our oversight projects adds a lot of cost and timeline to projects that are not Caltrans led, but but our partner agency led. We have not been doing as much robust improvements in shop as we probably should be doing, and that we're looking for ways on doing that. Also, standalone mobility projects. Currently, Caltrans, when we do bike ped infrastructure projects, is usually tacked on to projects initiated for motor vehicle things, like the pavement wasn't great quality, and so we also tack on bike ped infrastructure, which is good. That's opportunistic, but it's been challenging in that we have needs that aren't being met and that are really high needs. So we're also looking at that. So this is a page that I would love to get comments on. If you have, maybe I should pause now real quick, actually, because I've been talking a lot. Do you guys, have any thoughts on things Caltrans? I know it's a lot of words. I apologize for that, but yeah.
Yeah, any initial questions or comments for Jasmine? All right, Community Member Byron.
So thank you, Jasmine. So for the public engagement part, I wonder how much, what kind of efforts Caltrans is making to reach out to their jurisdictional partners to let them know about the new policy and policies. And I mean, there's still this idea that because it's a state highway, we can't do anything among staff and council members. So maybe sort of some kind of dedicated strategy to reach out to jurisdictions as well as the public.
That's good. That's good feedback. Yeah. I didn't include stakeholder engagement versus public engagement, but you're absolutely right. Stakeholder engagement is actually even more important in Caltrans. So.
Committee Member Keeshan.
I just wonder if maybe the public engagement could be brought out into almost a separate section as opposed to challenges, because if you have public engagement listed as a challenge, it seems kind of like it's blaming a little bit. So if there's like a separate section afterwards that basically said, in order for us to meet these challenges that we're facing, we really will depend on public engagement, that kind of thing. I don't know. That's just my feedback if I were looking at this.
It's a good suggestion. We'll look at, we have next steps, but maybe I can add it to there. That's a good, section.
Okay, Vice Chair Weeks.
Hi, thank you for the presentation. Really appreciate it. Just had one quick question. Today we were talking about, in another meeting, about the Innovate 680 direct access, not direct access ramp, sorry. I'm going back in time there with that, sorry about that. We're talking about the connected and adaptive ramp metering on various on-ramps throughout 680, which is going to be kind of a pilot that's coming along here pretty quick. And I noted your comment earlier that Caltrans has been doing some work on whenever something else needs to be done, that's when the magnifying glass comes out and you see how you can make connections and things like that. As you probably noted, freeway on-ramps and overcrossings of the freeway, especially on the 680 corridor, which San Ramon is in, are often places where we have difficulty getting bikes across. And we're lucky enough to have an amazing Iron Horse Trail as a bicycle highway. But if you're going anywhere off that and you need to go to the other side of the freeway, those connections are difficult. So just asking that if there's a way to include some kind of assessment of freeway crossings for bicycles as part of that CARM project. If there's any way to address that even in a couple sentences, that would be really great to say, hey, if we're putting in sufficient capacity for vehicles to back up into a holding area for an access ramp signal, maybe there's a chance there to take a look at how you're going to get bikes through that area if indeed there are additional vehicles backed up or slowing down through that area. That's just one bicycle concern I have for Caltrans. And then also, I just noticed heading here that there was a sign on the Caltrans right of way. One of the bike signs has just been hanging there for quite a while. So I'd be interested to see if we can have in that report about kind of how the system is monitored and maintained. Just a little more information on that, because I think that there's an interest in that, especially if you're building a lot of these kind of Class 4 facilities. The maintenance of those facilities and the cleanliness of those facilities is super important. In the long run, if you have a huge group of them, cleaning them will be incredibly important, and making sure the signs are readable and maintainable. So thank you for letting me make those comments. I'm not asking for comments from you at this time unless you feel like it.
Yeah, I don't know. I could, but really quick. Your comment about interchanges is 100% on track. It's actually one of my specific focuses, is making sure all interchanges are much better than they currently are. We have best practices that I was able to develop with this that I kind of presented last time. But yeah, it looks at best practices of how to get bicycles across interchanges. And we try to put that in as many projects as we possibly can. And I don't know about this project in general. I'll have to look into it, but hopefully, yeah, we're on the hunt for opportunities to make interchanges better. So yeah.
Thank you.
All right, then we'll go next to Committee Member Foster, then Committee Member Olson. So.
Thank you for the presentation. Probably building up on what Chris said, I'm wondering, are we measuring? I mean, how do we measure success? Because people who are against these projects say, well, not a lot of people use it. So are we measuring it in terms of less fatalities or more usage?
That's a very good point. We measure our success, at least for a Caltrans, on how many bikeways that we build that are comfortable, convenient, and connected. So we have we've done it's kind of like a network, but we have network. We want to build out our network, and yeah, we don't want to wait for a fatality, but a lot of times that's kind of what we do. But you're right. We have there's a lot of pushback, especially on locations that are really constrained. But yeah, that's a good point.
And Committee Member Olson.
Thank you. I have 2 items that I'd like to see added to your challenges list. Number 1 is that it's extremely important for a connected network. If you have 2 5-mile pieces of bicycle facility on any kind of a road, but bicycle facility that are separated by a 1-block-long segment of no bicycle facility, your average bicyclist is going to say it's too dangerous. So it seems to me connecting the pieces is a challenge that needs to be addressed, please.
That's a good point, yeah.
And the second item is a challenge. Keep the bike path open on the Richmond-San Rafael Bridge. Yeah, it seems to me you've already built it. It already works. So it's time to be strong and keep it just the way it is, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. Forget the motorists who are saying we are more important than people who don't drive. That's not the case. Please.
You bring up a very good point with that. Yeah. We've identified it in our bike plan as being a high priority to keep it as 24/7 access. So, yeah.
Yeah, so identifying it in the bike plan is good, but putting it on the challenges list is important.
Oh,
Okay?
All right.
We've got to deal with this. We've got it now. We want to keep it, please. And you guys have the strength to do it.
We'll look into that for, yeah. Yeah.
All right, Committee Member Byrne.
Yeah, thank you, Jasmine. I mean, I would definitely say over the last couple of years, I know I've seen Caltrans, these safety projects come in. And so one thing that I'd add to this challenge list is the public perception and addressing that, where, you know, you are doing projects and improvements to date, but people, maybe they don't know. So just trying to kind of tweak that public perception where Caltrans is only vehicle focused and kind of bring it down into scale, or bring it to scale that you guys are looking at these other improvements.
What?
And then I would also like to echo the comment about stakeholders engaging and having a good line of communication with the local agencies.
Okay, Vice Chair Weeks.
Sorry, I forgot one thing. As many of our local agencies know, the e-bikes are becoming a major challenge. So, you know, especially with vehicles that are more like motorcycles operating in bike facilities and trail facilities. So I don't know if that's something that you guys could help the municipalities work on in tandem. I know that some cities and towns have taken the lead in getting that word out to their communities. But maybe there's a regional message that we can work on together related to that. And to me, that's also a challenge. But it's a great opportunity also, though. So that's, I don't think adding it to the challenge page is what I'm looking for here, but just maybe looking to it as an opportunity that's part of this kind of public engagement piece, that, you know, what we want to see in these facilities and who they're being built for and why. Be clarification there. Thank you.
That's good. Good comment. We'll have to, yeah, look at where we can add e-bikes in our thing. Oh,
Committee Member Riley.
The money is a challenge, right? Or
money's
lack of?
100% a challenge.
I don't see it up
Oh, you're right. You're right. I should put that somewhere.
Committee Member Keeshan.
Real quick, I think Bruce's point is really good. Maybe a heading like gaps in connectivity, or something that describes that as a challenge, because I think that's a really good point.
Okay, Committee Member Byron.
I just want to echo that as well. I mean, the Caltrans facilities are basically like a big wall for pedestrians and cyclists. I mean, it's a barrier that prevents them from getting to like the Bay Trail or to the other side of their community. And so getting people over or under it safely is, I don't know how you would describe that as a challenge. It seems to me that's the central challenge.
That's a good point, yeah.
Committee Member Wilson.
Tearing off of that, this isn't necessarily to add to challenges, but when looking at the maps in the plan, especially the map that shows like priority projects and that was used to solicit feedback, I think sometimes showing that regional network as you know, not that you own it, but just that it does exist. For example, there's a connection between Iron Horse Trail and Delta Dianza Trail that's shown on the Caltrans plan. If I didn't know the network, I might not realize what a gap that closes and why that should be such a top priority. So if I was a member of the public, looking, I might not realize, what that is and what that does, or where the gaps are necessarily. So I think in some of the mapping efforts of showing, that some of your projects are proposing to close those or allowing people to comment on those would be great.
You actually bring up a really good point. We had a really difficult time with our mapping. So we did create a layer that we're calling the regional all ages and abilities. Yeah, but it wasn't in the public comment one, but we have it, and yeah. I wanted to make the public comment as streamlined as possible since there's a lot of dots, but yeah, a lot of people were confused because then looked like there were gaps, but those gaps were the completed ones. It was very, Thanks though, yeah, our whole mapping system's very confusing. I guess I'll move on. Oh, do we have
Actually,
another?
I do have, any last comment? I do have couple comments, just want to mention, I'm glad to see that the section on oversight projects, because I know I've commented on that, I think previously, that there is sometimes a challenge, coordinating with Caltrans, and given that there's multiple groups in Caltrans, so I'm glad to see that it's highlighted as a challenge. Then one other comment I see under public engagement, the last sentence in regards to shop projects. Yeah, I think about it, and I've never seen like a shop project list or have the opportunity to comment unless, probably the final document before it goes to the CTC. So yeah, that would be appreciated if somehow like the local agencies, we could view the shop list, and for this group, like the bike ped list, prior to it going up to the CTC. I do know that the shop process is like a year or two long, so I'm sure.
Oh, it's longer than that.
Longer than that, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would definitely appreciate it if we could see that, have the opportunity to view the shop project list for bike ped projects.
Yeah, you bring up a good point. There is a list of shop projects online that's publicly available, but yeah, it's not user-friendly. Like trying to parse out like which bike ped elements it has and doesn't have is really bad. So we are in the process of kind of fixing some of the things. So we have what's called a DSDD, which is we have a thing called a CSDD, which has an inventory of the complete streets elements available for each shop project, and that's soon going to be publicly available as soon as Caltrans can do it. So yeah, but you're right. We should focus on having more engagement with stakeholders in the shop.
All right. Thank you.
So I'm going to move on to our next things, and some of them are things that, are things that you've mentioned, but yeah. So one of the things that we're doing is our existing conditions that we have. This is just on and across the state highway system, but yeah, we have quite a build out of our network slowly. The temporary bike path is the Richmond-San Rafael Bridge. That's what it's called out as, a temporary bike path. We actually have a lot. This map still seems really red, which just means bikes are permitted on that segment. But we're slowly building out our system, and we actually have a lot of bikeways compared to other districts. So this is our all ages in a regional network. It's of course really small here, but we actually have it online. It's to look at that connectivity and what Caltrans can do to connect the region. This is, essentially our regional network, and this is the network that Caltrans is essentially looking at to make sure that we have regional connectivity. So you can see the Iron Horse Trail is that lovely green line going through Contra Costa County. We have gaps, of course, that I'm sure you're very much aware of, but they're hard to see here, but we have it online. So here, we'll move on to I don't know if I included it in our presentation, but and then we just have our needs identification and methodology that I'm not going to go into much since I talked about last time, but here is our online material. Here's our online material, and the Explore map in the bottom has all of our map layers, which includes that regional all ages and abilities that you can overlay it with our needs. And it's all available as one map. So yeah, you can also look at our level of traffic stress analysis in there, as well as our safety analysis. So there's a lot of info in there. It's actually a really almost overwhelmingly large amount of info. But yeah, we also have a place in here that you can see the draft report and comment on it, and our bicycle best practices are in there, as well as a place to download our report and to look at our story map that talks more about the methodology of our prioritization methodology. So anyway, it is available online, and we'll disseminate it publicly this week. It's, yeah, on my to-do list this week of email blasting it out to all of our stakeholders. So yeah, I don't know if I can click on it though. Can I click on it? No. Okay. Yeah, I don't know if I could click on it, but okay. So yeah, I had just some key questions. I guess you've already talked about it a bit, but yeah, what could Caltrans do to be a better partner with our local jurisdictions, and what would you like to see Caltrans do to improve bike mobility here in Contra Costa County? So.
Quick question before I turn it over to the group. I'm just curious, you said you're going to release it this week, and the opportunity to receive public comment. What's the deadline closing date for that?
Closing date, I definitely want I want it done before Bike to Work Day. So so that's May. So probably we'll have it up for at least 2 months. So April, May, and then, yeah. So probably February, March, and yeah. Yeah, probably April. April will probably be our cutoff date. Sorry.
Okay, thank you. All right, any questions or comments for Jasmine? Committee Member Riley.
Yeah, sorry, I have a bunch. I was kind of saving mine to the end. I just had a technical question. On the map, there are like green things and black things. What is the difference? Or is there a difference?
We had, so the green things are in this map, the Explore map. You're talking about this map, right? The Explore map in the bottom. The green things, there's darker, there's actually not black, they're just a really dark green. So they are, we thought the red and the green was confusing, so we made them all green, which is also confusing. But the darker green is the higher priority projects, and the lighter green is the lower priority projects. So it's our needs analysis of projects on across the state highway system, and they're prioritized. So the darker the color, the more
The darker the color, the more important.
Yeah, the more important.
Okay,
yeah.
Gotcha. I just had a comment about the safety score. So it seems like the safety score is solely based on Switter's data of collisions, which is the best data source that we have for this kind of stuff. However, at our last meeting, there was a project on San Pablo Dam Road, and I had mentioned that's my neighborhood, that's where I live. And I would love to bike to Kennedy Grove Regional Park, but I'm a pretty, adventurous rider, but I don't even want to take my life in my own hands on San Pablo Dam Road. And so when I go to Kennedy Grove, I drive to Kennedy Grove. It's another car on the road for that trip. You're probably not going to see a lot of collisions on San Pablo Dam Road right now, because there's probably a lot of people like me who are adventurous riders who just aren't even bothering with it, aren't even going to go out there because the facilities don't exist. However, because it's inherently unsafe. However, if it were safer, and if this project that we reviewed last month does go through, I will happily be, biking out there, and hopefully other people will too. So I would encourage you all, and it's probably a lot of work or whatever, but I would encourage you all to look at safety in a sort of more holistic sense of not just where there are obviously the most dense amount of people bicycling, where there's going to be the most collisions, but also where aren't people driving because it is unsafe, the stroads that run through residential areas and things like that. Yeah, it just might bring up some other projects that aren't maybe necessarily scoring high right now, and those are going to continue to not be prioritized as bicycle facilities, even though if they were there, people might use them. So I don't know if that makes any sense.
Yeah,
so.
no, that actually makes 100% sense. That's a glare. I agree with you that that's a glaring methodology gap, but that's Caltrans has a methodology for safety, and we borrowed our safety branches methodology essentially, and they really prioritize locations where fatalities happen, and we have just so many fatalities that to me, it's very, very annoying when we have a location that has had collisions and we still don't do anything about it. So we still
Sure.
have so many of those.
And I'm not advocating
I
to
know,
not make
I know.
places with high collisions a priority.
I
That
know.
definitely needs
Yeah,
to be done, but yeah.
Yeah, yeah. We're hoping that our mobility slash like gap connectivity kind of thing prioritizes collision locations like that don't have any mobility connectivity. Yeah.
And, you know, it's good to see, clicking around the maps, just lots of class 4s and stuff. As I was clicking through, there seemed to be a lot of suggestions for putting in class 4. We'd like to see that. And then I guess there's a couple in West County that I'm particularly interested in, but I mean, I could also, instead of like talking about that a lot to people here, but I might just follow up with some comments or something.
Yeah.
There's one at Hilltop where there's the park and ride lot, right kind of near the sort of cloverleaf to get on the highway. And that's like right where I live, and I see people walking in that class 1 bike lane on Hilltop Drive, which is basically a stroad going through there. It's very dangerous because the sidewalks are on the south side and people just don't cross over to walk a block to then cross over again or whatever and stuff. And I'm just wondering like whose jurisdiction that even is. To like if that stretches into your jurisdiction or not. And so I had questions about that one in particular. And then also with, we're working on a plan for Central Avenue. And it seems like there are improvements here. And I assume that you have staff that's working with the locals to make sure that this lines up with the plans that are being made for all that.
Yeah, Central Ave is really, important. But the question about jurisdiction, if you email me, I can email you a map, because we actually have a publicly available map here at District 4 that shows not 100% where our right-of-way is, but within 5 feet. Right-of-way is always telling us, it's like, this isn't really 100% accurate. It's like, well, it's pretty accurate for us. So, we have a publicly available map that has that, which a lot of districts don't. So, I'll definitely,
And again, kudos to you all for having the first and now the first revised. So it shows dedication from your all's office for working with the locals on these issues. Thank you.
Okay, next, committee member Olson.
Yeah, hi, thank you. I rode my bicycle to today's meeting from Pittsburgh. It was 17.25 miles. On that trip, I followed mostly the Delta de Anza Regional Trail and the Iron Horse Trail. However, there is a segment missing, and you have said good things about allowing bicycles on the segment of freeway, Highway 4 between Willow Pass Road and Port Chicago Highway. I was on that segment of freeway today. I can say a couple of things about riding on that segment of freeway. It's an 8-lane freeway. The average motorist speed is about 80 miles an hour. I haven't been breezed by a motorist trying to claim back their portion of the road from this bicyclist in about the past 5 years, but I have been breezed, and it's a big surprise. I can also say I've been stopped more often by law enforcement who do not know that bicycles are allowed on this segment of freeway than I have seen other bicyclists on this segment of freeway. So my request to you is get bicyclists off this segment of freeway, please, so that we can connect 100% of the way off-street route Delta de Anza Regional Trail to Iron Horse Regional Trail. Please and thank you.
That's a very good comment. It is in our location-based needs list, and it shows up very bright red on our thing as being one of only like 5 segments of access-controlled highway that cyclists are allowed to bike ride in like the entire Bay Area. So I'm not surprised that law enforcement don't know about it, because some Caltrans engineers also don't know, and I have to point out to them, it's like, this is legal for cyclists to ride in. So it's a high priority.
Good, thank you. The last time I got stopped by a highway patrolman, he promised me that he would arrest me the next time he saw me on the freeway. I've been riding this segment of freeway approximately 100 times a year since 2006.
Okay, Vice Chair Weeks.
Hi, I'm just putting on my SWAT hat for a second. San Ramon is administrator of SWAT. And I don't know, I just thought it was a little weird. I don't know if there's a way you can work on the way the maps show these networks, but you have this kind of existing conditions map, section 6, which shows there's no red at all in SWAT, so, which is a little weird. And then on the next one, you have the existing all ages and abilities network, and the entire length of the green that's shown in SWAT is East Bay Regional Parks Trail. So, I don't know, just on behalf of SWAT, remaking that point I made earlier, where San Ramon Valley Boulevard is more of a central way of people getting to and from businesses along the 680 corridor, and there's work being done there. There's the shop project where there's on and off ramps. They're going to have signalization put on them, and it seems like a good time to start looking at improving some of that. And maybe it makes it look like Caltrans has provided this amazing bike facility through all of SWAT, and in reality, if you go back to the other map, there's nothing. So I don't know if there's a way to explain that, and I know that members of SWAT will want to have me say something like that. So
yeah, I was debating about adding a note. We had a lot of discussion about these maps and about we don't want it to it portray that Caltrans is doing all this great work when a lot of this all ages and abilities network is done by our local partners that have been doing a really great job. But I don't know, Caltrans is also there to help fulfill the need of like having it regionally connect throughout the system, but we don't do that sometimes. But yeah, we should add another note to this map. You're right.
Yeah, thank you for being open to that. Yeah. And then I saw that, of course, you have a prioritization of projects with the darker color being more important, and all the projects on the 680 are the lightest possible color. So there's not, there's multiple kinds of equity, and so I think it's, keep in mind that maybe putting some energy a little bit, especially where there's other energy in other areas being put into Caltrans right away, to improve some bike facilities that help us cross 680 and other highways in our area. It would go a long way to placating members of SWAT and residences from other areas that actually go through our area on bike and on foot. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a good point. Yeah.
All right, any other questions or comments? Okay, Committee Member Byron.
Just a quick question. I'm sorry I haven't studied the maps, but I wonder if you know anything about this mysterious little segment called the I-80 Bikeway in Richmond. It's kind of skirts the highway on Amador, Clinton, that area, and it's Clinton, McLaughlin Street, and there's basically just signs that say these mysterious signs that say I-80 Bikeway, but there's nothing there. There's no sharrows, there's no bike lanes. Do you know anything about that?
I'm not 100% sure what it was referring to. I could look into it. There's a couple things that it could be referring. It might be just that there's this weird class 1 that kind of like skirts the interchange a couple of different places. I don't know if it's near Clinton though. Yeah, I'll look into it. It might also, sometimes we just have weird signs that like are the overcrossings, the ped overcrossings. That's not near Clinton though. That's further closer to north of Central. Yeah, I could look into it.
I could take some pictures.
Yeah. You can take me pictures. Yeah.
Any other questions, comments? Okay, Committee Member LaBelle.
Just a quick question. You mentioned earlier in your presentation that from 2018 to current, that no protected intersections have been completed. Do you have that number?
Yeah, in Caltrans right-of-way. I should have said that. Yeah, Caltrans, has not completed a protected intersection since we had 2 of them at the, one in San Francisco and one near the Costco in this county, actually. It's in, what is it? It's kind of where Albany and Richmond, on the edge of Albany and Richmond near their Costco. But we haven't completed a protected intersection since then in our right-of-way.
So it's just two currently in the process?
No, those two exist. We have a number in process, one on Central Ave, or no, San Pablo Ave at Cutting, I believe, and there's a couple, there's more than that, but yeah, there's some in process. I think that one's under construction currently. But yeah, we went many years without any protected intersections being installed on our right-of-way, and yeah, our intersections are so incredibly important, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions, comments? I have a question, Jasmine. I'm looking at the, I guess it's GIS map, the District 4 pedestrian bicycle plan explore map. If I have a comment on a specific segment, is that something I can just follow up with you?
Yeah, you can,
Okay.
yeah, 100% follow up on me on that, yeah, on that specific segment, yeah. And you can email me, here's my email, is jasmine.stitt@dot.ca.gov, so, yeah. Or you can, I don't know if there's a comment, the Explore map doesn't have a comment button, never mind, but yeah.
Okay, thank you. All right, if no other committee comments, just checking, Jackie, have we received any public comment on this item?
No public comment, and there's no hands raised.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Jasmine.
Thanks. Thanks for having me all. Thanks.
All right, we'll move on to item 4B of the regular agenda, which is a review of 2 complete streets checklists for compliance with MTC Resolution Number 4493. These are just informational items only. This first checklist will be presented by CCTA staff, Jay Zhang, for the I-680 Bollinger Canyon Road Shared Mobility Hub.
Good morning, committee members. Jay Zhang, Associate Engineer with CCTA, and this item before you is the Innovate 680 Bollinger Canyon Road Shared Mobility Hub, and this item is for the MTC Complete Street Checklist. Oh, oops. Sorry about that. There we go. So first, I just want to go over the structure of the presentation. There will be 4 topics. First, I'll be giving the project overview and existing conditions at the site, and then the proposed improvements, and also going into a little bit about the complete street checklist, and last but not least, is the timeline and cost of the project. So first, I just want to go over some background information on the Shared Mobility Hub projects and how it relates to the Innovate 680 program. So in very simple terms, the mobility hubs are places of connectivity where different travel options converge. And the goals of the hub is to offer seamless transfer experience between different travel modes, enhance accessibility to those modes, and also improve the transition between local and regional transportation systems. And lastly, by integrating technology at each hub, we hope to improve reliability and make it easier to plan trips in the county. So in 2023, the authority completed a Shared Mobility Hub feasibility study. And in there were 3 types of hubs that were identified. As you can see listed on the right here, there's regional hubs, access hubs, and then also community hub. So the Bollinger Canyon location is identified as a community hub. And there are also 8 locations that were recommended along the I-60 corridor to implement these mobility hubs. 3 of them are the proposed limited bus stops for a new regional express bus service that's planned between the Dublin Pleasanton BART station and the Martinez Amtrak station. So the three proposed stops are, like I said, at Martinez Amtrak station, the Walnut Creek BART station, and also the San Ramon Transit Center, which we'll discuss shortly. And so diving into what's currently out there today, there is, so the map on the right shows the current transit center in the city of San Ramon. So currently there are county connection routes serving this location. There are a couple lines there. And also there is CCTA's BEEP Presto service in areas as well. So there's some opportunities there for integration of the systems. So there are currently 2 sites under consideration. The one in red is the current San Ramon Transit Center on the Executive Parkway. It's also known as Bishop Ranch 3 North. And then there's also this southern portion in the purple known as Bishop Ranch 3 South. So the project aligns with several regional and local plans, such as the Plan Bay Area 2050, Countywide Transportation Plan, the Regional Safety Vision Zero Policy, and the Countywide Bike and Ped Plan. And there are some other notable landmarks around the site, including the Iron Horse Trail, the San Ramon Community Center and Central Park, various stores and shop, and obviously the Bishop Ranch Business Park. And next, I will just dive into some of the proposed improvements at each location. So what you see here is the current, the existing transit center. So in terms of transit improvements, we are expanding bus capacity by building dedicated bus bays, which could also accommodate microtransit and autonomous vehicles. There will also be fare vending machines, battery electric bus charging stations, enhanced waiting areas, and also transit signal priority offsite. In terms of bike and ped improvements, there will be Class 2 bike lanes on Camino Ramon. I believe this is run from Bowling Canyon to Coral Canyon. There will also be a Class 4 cycle track on the Executive Parkway connecting Camino Ramon to the Iron Horse Trail. And other amenities include bike storage facilities, charging stations, shared mobility options like scooters and electric bicycles, and also repair stations. In terms of pedestrian improvements, there will be high visibility crosswalks, and also ADA compliant curb ramps and sidewalks. And also in terms of motorized service improvements, we'll be installing a dedicated pickup drop-off off of Executive Parkway for TNC and taxis and stuff like that. And inside the garage, we'll also be implementing vehicle charging stations, carpool, vanpool, and ADA compliant parking spots, and also reserved parking as well. And lastly, there are general support services such as lighting, wayfinding, solar canopy, Wi-Fi, and real-time information displays. And this is a second version of the proposed design. The major difference is that the pickup drop-off is moved to the current smaller parking lot off to the east. And the trade-off with this design is it's likely that we'll need some right-of-way access or obtain right-of-way to allow essentially the cars to exit the site. And this is the southern location. So all the features included will be very similar to what we have up on the north. The advantage of the site is it's a little closer to the I-680 off-ramp. So it will be more efficient for the buses to circulate over here instead of the north site. And also it will be a little more attractive for riders wishing to visit the parks and stores that's nearby. The trade-off here is that the city currently does not own the parcel, so there will be likely will be some land swap that will be needed between the city and the development. And in terms of the complete street checklist, this is part of the Regional Measure 3 funding process. So we're currently looking to allocate some of the Regional Measure 3 money for environmental clearance. So in addition to what I mentioned earlier about bike and ped facilities, we also we'll make sure that the bike facilities are in compliance with the latest NACTO design standards, and that it will be a low-stress transportation facility. In terms of budget and schedule, like I mentioned earlier, we're currently looking at allocating some Regional Measure 3 funding for environmental clearance. Also, I didn't include in the slides, so I apologize for that. We also have some TIRSIP funding that's currently in place, about $10.8 million for the various phases of the project. And we're also seeking additional funding through the Senate Bill 1 grant. And in terms of schedule, we're looking at completing the environmental clearance this year and start design process in December of 2025 to March 2027, and then begin construction from 2027 to 2028. And with that, I conclude my presentation. I'm happy to answer any questions or comments.
All right, thank you. Any committee member comments on this item? Committee member Olson?
Yes, thank you. Your bike lockers that either are currently installed or are planned to be installed, are they large enough to be able to fit in an occasional cargo bike? And the age group that buys electric bikes the most is the 40 to 70 age group. So we need to be able to fit these expensive electric bikes into lockers. They're probably not going to leave their nice electric bike that they use to get from their home to this mobility hub outside just loose. And they might need to be slightly bigger than the racing bike lockers that we've had since the 1980s. Second, it would be completely wonderful if you could put in an occasional electric outlet in these bike lockers so that these electric bikes can be charged while the individual is using public transit to get off to work or wherever they're going. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you for the comment. To respond to your first comment, so what I'm showing here is very early conceptual design, so we'll definitely take those comments back to the design team in terms of locker capacity. So we'll make sure to accommodate all sorts of bike sizes. And secondly, your second comment is about charging. So we do have dedicated electric charging stations proposed at each location, but we'll definitely take those comments back as well to add outlets to the lockers and storage facilities. Thank you.
All right, Vice Chair Weeks.
Thank you for the presentation. This is in San Ramon, so I have way too much information on this, so I'm not going to bore you, but I just want to thank you for working with the city. Please continue to do so as best you can. It's a complicated setup. I know that there is public comment on this item that was submitted at one point, so I just wanted to talk about the proposed location, this BR3 South location. The city, the landowner there, and the transit agencies have met and discussed this BR3 South location as being the preferred location for going into the future, and looking at future development and the amount of housing that's going in this area. So that's why the energy is being focused on this and the funding. The original proposal was to have it out on the highway at the old Bollinger Park and Ride, just as background. And that became kind of overrun with regional, for lack of a better term, tech buses that were using that as pickup and drop off, and it was overflowing there. And what the access for buses turning in and out was difficult. And also a daycare was permitted in that area that would be right next to an area where buses would have to be driving every 20 minutes or something like that, and it wasn't safe. So the relocation into San Ramon a little bit was the first decision, and then this kind of more centralized location was the second. And I don't know if it was clear to everybody here, but the first proposed location and its current location is fine for the city, and we're happy to work with the original location, but I think that in the long run, it would be much more efficient and serve the people of San Ramon and the region to have a more centralized pickup and drop-off location. So that's why this energy and funding is being spent. So I just wanted to add that, and reaching a handshake across and say thank you. You guys have done a great job working with us, and apologize for the delays and the difficulties that we've encountered, but we're still working, and we still need to work getting consensus on this alternative location. So thank you for letting me talk a little bit. This is therapeutic again.
Thank you.
All right, any other questions or comments for Jay? All right, hearing none. Jackie, have we received any public comments? I think we received some written comments, but any other public comments have you received?
No additional comments, just the one that was included in the email to you guys. There was a subsequent comment from the same person right after. You should have received both notifications via email, and it is also posted in the HTML packet under the item.
Okay, thank you. All right, so we'll move on to the second checklist for this item, which is will also be presented by Jay Zhang for the I-680 Walnut Creek BART Station Shared Mobility Hub.
Hi, good morning again. Jay Zhang, Associate Engineer with CCTA. Yeah, so this is for the other location in Walnut Creek BART Station. Again, it's going to be similarly structured as the last presentation. I'll be giving some overview, existing conditions, and go over the proposed improvements, complete street checklist, and also timeline and cost. So I won't go over the background again. It's, again, part of the Innovate 680 program, which supports the express bus service that's going to be running in the future. So this location has a lot more usage in terms of public transit and population. So currently there's regional transit such as BART in the area, County Connection, Solano Express, and also LAFTA/Wheels. Again, the project aligns with several regional plans, including the Plan Bay Area 2050, the Countywide Transportation Plan, Vision Zero policy, and the Countywide Bike and Ped Plan. And so as part of the feasibility study and background data collection, the map on the top left is showing current and proposed facilities, multimodal facilities in the area. And the text and tables are showing population and demographics information within a certain radius of the mobility site. And the last graphic on the bottom right is the heat map for jobs and worker information in the area. And in terms of ridership, the feasibility study did collect some data from BART and County Connection in terms of weekday ridership. And also there's some existing station access pie chart on the right that shows the breakdown of each travel modes that's accessing the site today. In terms of improvements, for the transit piece, we're hoping to leverage the existing bus stops at the south garage today. I think currently there are multiple Sawtooth bus bays already there. So we're trying to enhance that by adding some enhanced waiting areas as well as real-time travel displays in the area. And then in terms of bike improvements, it's a lot more. There are a lot more bike lanes in this area than in the San Ramon location. So first there will be an upgrade to the Class 2 facility that's on California Boulevard today. So those will be upgraded to a Class 4 facility. And then in addition, there will be a Class 2, either a Class 2 or a Class 4 cycle track that's on Hillside Avenue, which will connect to the communities west of the I-680 freeway. And then there will be a continuous bike path on Riviera Avenue all the way to Parkside to complete that bike network connection. And then in addition, there will be crossing improvements at Oakland Boulevard, so that will connect to the multi-use paths on Oakland Boulevard. And then additionally, there will be charging facilities and storage facilities on site in the BART station itself. And then lastly, there will be a bike stairway channel on the northwest corner of Ignacio Valley Boulevard, Ignacio Valley Road and California Boulevard to grant access for bicyclists to the station. And then in terms of pedestrian improvements, there will be high visibility crosswalks as well as ADA compliant curb ramps and sidewalks. And then for motorized services improvements, there will be a dedicated taxi loop that's adjacent to the future development, showing the purple loop here in the center of the map. And then there will also be some electric charging stations as well. And then lastly, for amenities and support services, there will be lighting improvements as well as wayfinding, solar canopies, Wi-Fi, and real-time information displays throughout the site. And again, as part of the Regional Measure 3 funding requirements, we're bringing this checklist item to you today. And again, all the bicycle facilities in the area will be in compliance with the latest NACTO design standards, and all the proposed facilities will provide low-stress transportation facility. So we're also seeking Regional Measure 3 funding to complete the environmental clearance for this project. And in addition, we're seeking in the same Senate Bill 1 grant, and also there's a MTC climate program that we're also applying for funding. In terms of schedule, the two projects share a very similar timeline. We're looking to complete the environmental clearance this year and then start design early next year and all the way till 2027, and construction will follow in 2027 and 2028. And with that, I conclude my presentation. I'm happy to answer any comments or questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Jay. Committee member comments, Committee member Olson.
Yeah, me and my big mouth. This stairway channel that you're installing, about 20 feet to the north, there's an ADA ramp that I regularly use to get up into that parking lot area. You're not going to do anything to that ADA ramp, are you? You're just going to add a stair channel.
Correct, yes.
Okay. I got no problem with putting a stair channel in there, but I don't see the need for it. Okay.
Thank you for that comment. Yeah, that's good to know. I'll bring that back to the design team.
Okay, thank you. And then the Class 4 facility, the wide sidewalk upon which bicycles are allowed on California Avenue, that is strongly needed. 10 feet wide, without too many traffic signal poles or street light poles or electric transformer boxes blocking it. And if you go a little bit to the north on California Avenue, there's a dedicated right turn lane that does not have a traffic signal that's really difficult to get across to continue on California Avenue as you're headed south from Contra Costa Boulevard, which then becomes California Avenue. This is part of the undercrossing of the freeway there. It's a block or so to the north. That's a real concern up there. Like a traffic signal needs to be installed, or a hawk I don't think an RRFB would be good enough up there. If you go exploring, you'll find it.
Oh, okay. Thank you for the comment. Yeah. So we'll have to look at if that location is within the scope and the area of the project. So I can get back to the design team and see what we can do at that location to make it safer. So thank you for the comment.
All right, thank you.
Vice Chair Weeks.
The other big mouth. Hopefully I can get to your level at some point. I'm trying. So I just wanted to mention an unfortunate event. A gentleman named Carlos Aguilar Reyes, 49 of Oakland, was killed actually on North Main Street 3 days ago on a bike, which is just outside of the print of this picture. And so I know we don't have Walnut Creek represented today, but you know, as Member Olson was saying, North California definitely needs exactly what you're proposing, and just want to see if there's maybe a way to reach hands across to the city on North Main, which is a parallel to this section, because we have had a fatality, and it's kind of near the target, which is on the next intersection up. So I don't know if, I know your purview is just the station area work, but just acknowledging that we did have this loss, and it probably points at an issue that this will help. What you've proposed will help. Maybe someone would be willing to ride on a facility on North California that was protected, so it could be very helpful to that. But also maybe talk to Walnut Creek about North Main and see if there's a way, whatever they have planned for the long run, make sure that this will connect to it safely and comfortably for the users getting to and from BART, going to work early in the morning, like Mr. Aguilar Reyes was doing the morning that he was hit. So thank you.
Thank you for the comment.
Community Member Foster.
Hi, thank you for the presentation. My question is, as we're making all these changes and adding more pedestrian bike capabilities, are we looking at reducing the speed limits? Are we increasing the pedestrian crossing time? And are we adding more trees that would be, you know, visual obstructions to slow the motorists down?
Yeah, so in terms of crossing distances, I know there's a project from Walnut Creek at Ignacio Valley Road and California, so I think that's a protected intersection project. So we have it on here, but we'll work with the city to incorporate that project into the design if we can. And then in terms of trees, so we'll follow the stormwater permit where if we need to have landscape areas to offset the storm runoff, we'll include those areas in the project as well. And like I said, this is very early in terms of design. So what you see here is only a conceptual drawing. So as we advance the project, I'm sure more details about trees and landscape will come up, and we'll definitely be happy to take the project back into this committee to present to you the development that we have.
Yeah, we just need a way to slow the motorists down, because I know Ignacio, yeah, people drive fast, and I think it's 35 miles an hour.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments for Jay? All right, Committee Member Byrne.
Yeah, thank you for that. So I know this station was included in BART's like a safe route. It was in a planning document, and along Ignacio Valley Road that had included a class 4 in that concept plan. So I would just make sure that you know these two documents and these two plans work together.
Will do. Thank you.
Any other questions, comments? Seeing none. Actually, Jay, I do have a quick, and I can follow up with you offline about this, but quick question about, I see on the left side of the map, you have a bicycle facility that crosses Ignacio, and then that's right where the off-ramp is, and I'm curious what your coordination with Caltrans has been with that proposal.
I think we did confirm with city staff that the city actually owns the signal and their intersection over here, and also the underpass as well. But I'll I'll make sure to confirm with Caltrans staff as well on ownership. We'll be working with both partners to install these improvements.
Okay, thank you. I'm just curious because we have,
Thank you.
the county has their own
Yeah.
similar intersection that we've been having issues for quite a while, so just curious what your experience was, so thank you.
Thanks.
All right, seeing no other committee member comments, Jackie checking to see if we have any public comment on this item.
No written public comment, but we do have a hand raised. Just one moment.
Okay.
Hello?
Hi, CT?
Yes.
Okay, great. Let me put the timer up and you are free to share your statement.
Hi, my name is Connor of the Trans Bay Coalition. I just wanted to ask about if there's any plans on changing any of the parking spaces at this Walnut Creek station. And this extends to the Bollinger Mobility Hub as well. Maybe, as one of the members here pointed out, maybe having lockers that could fit EV bikes. Maybe we can convert some of those parking spaces into lockers for that. Is there anything of that sort of plan in mind?
We know the North Garage is owned by a private entity, so any opportunities to convert parking will be happening at the south location. But yeah, we'll definitely look at ways to add in storage for bicyclists, whether that's through converting parking spaces or finding a location on site will have to be determined as we advance the design.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, committee member Foster.
Hi, follow up. With more than 50 million Americans turning 60 in 2030, let's make sure we have to identify disability accommodations, for someone who's in a wheelchair or a mobility scooter, because the folks in mobility scooter tend to use the bicycle facilities. So I hope maybe the next iteration of this would put, okay, where are all the accommodations?
Thank you for the comment.
All right, seeing no other committee member comments, thank you, Jay, for this presentation and the prior item as well.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll now move on to item 4C, update on the development of the Countywide Bicycle and Pedestrian Plan project list. And this item will be presented by Colin Clark from CCTA.
Good afternoon. So just wanted to give a brief verbal update on the project list. So this group saw the updated project list in 2024. I think it was at the November meeting, and since then there was the Countywide Vision Zero Working Group meeting December 10th. That was well attended and good participation to help continue to refine that Countywide Bike and Ped Plan project list. And feel free to provide input on the list. If you go to ccta.net, you click on planning and then click on the Countywide Bike and Ped Plan page. At the bottom left, you'll see the list. Happy to receive any comments, verbally here, or feel free to email me or call me later. Thanks.
All right, thank you for that update, Colin. Just any committee member comments on the item? All right, committee member Olson.
Yeah, I could comment on a couple of projects that I see are needed. The crossing of 242 by Oliveira Road, it's got a narrow shoulder and a narrow sidewalk. Making that into a Class 4 facility would be completely wonderful. And that's a connection between the Iron Horse Trail and the Delta de Anza Regional Trail, so it gets used regularly by bicyclists. And then in Pleasant Hill, on the south side of Sun Valley Boulevard, there's an access to the Iron Horse Trail. However, most people coming from the Iron Horse Trail want to go over to DVC, Diablo Valley College, and to get to DVC, you have to cross Sun Valley Boulevard - Willow Pass Road. They changed name right there at the freeway. It would really be wonderful if we could have a connection on the north side of Sun Valley Boulevard - Willow Pass Road. It wouldn't take much. Every time a maintenance person closes up the hole in the fence, somebody cuts another hole in the fence, so it's regularly used. It would be acceptable to get Caltrans to put in a crosswalk right there from the south side access, which is the northbound 680 off-ramp to Willow Pass Road - Sun Valley Boulevard. That would be good, but it would be more expensive and dangerous, and we would be dealing with Caltrans, and we all know our Caltrans person is gone. We all know how tough it is to deal with Caltrans. So it would be a lot easier just to cut a hole in the fence and put a pavement on the north side of Sun Valley Boulevard - Willow Pass Road from the Iron Horse Trail to the sidewalk there. And I'll send you a few other suggestions right now, but those are the two major ones. Thank you.
All right, any other questions, comments for Colin? Okay, Committee Member Byron?
Yeah, Colin, do you think you could send a link in email to the plan?
That would be good.
Thank you.
Okay, not seeing any other committee member comments. Jackie, do we have any public comment on this item?
No public comment, written or virtual.
Okay, thank you. So we'll move on to item 4D, which is an update on the development of the Countywide Comprehensive Transportation Safety Action Plan, which will be presented again by Colin.
Thank you. So the CCTSAP went to WICTAC in West County for the electeds this past Friday, and it'll be going to TransPAC for Central County electeds in February. I believe it's February 13th. And in December, the Authority Board adopted the plan, and CCTA and its team is, continuing to address comments from local agencies and the RTBCs, the Regional Transportation Planning Advisory Committees. And as I mentioned on the last item, the Countywide Bike and Ped Plan project list is continuing to be refined as to how can the project list be prioritized in terms of having an impact on Vision Zero sooner rather than later.
Okay, thank you for that update, Colin. Any committee member comments on this item? Okay, seeing none. Jackie, have we received any public comment?
No written public comment or virtual.
Okay, okay, thank you. So move on to the next item on the agenda, which is other business / information sharing. Is there anything that committee members or staff would like to share? Committee member Byron?
I just had a question. On the checklist, it says that number 7 is that a committee would have that projects need to have a BPAC review. So I'm just wondering if you could share what the criteria are for the BPAC, and is that the same as the transit advisory group, local transit advisory groups that the county is recommending each jurisdiction have for the Vision Zero process? So I would just love a little bit more information on what the criteria are for those groups.
So I just want to make sure I'm hearing this. So the BPAC, the criteria for having a BPAC at a local level as
Yes.
opposed to a countywide level?
Yes.
Okay, and then did you say transit advisory or?
Transportation, I know for Vision Zero, it was recommended that each jurisdiction have a transportation, I think, advisory group or working group.
As part of the complete streets checklist for MCC's resolution?
No, this is
449?
a separate thing.
Okay, okay.
So as part of the Vision Zero process, one of the things that was recommended was that every jurisdiction have some kind of transportation advisory group or working group. So I just would like to know more about what those two different groups are. Are they the same thing? And what the criteria are. I could send you an email about it.
Yeah, sounds good. We'll put together a response.
Okay, Committee member Olson?
Yeah, a concern that I'd like to share with the Bicycle Advisory Committee is the city of Antioch obtained federal money for an active transportation project on L Street in the city of Antioch. And they got input from people living near the street that they want to create this active transportation plan. And they asked them, can we remove the parking so that we can put in bike lanes? And the people living there using the parking said, no, we want to keep our parking. The city of Antioch did not ask bicyclists. They did not ask East Bay Bicycle Coalition. They did not ask the Delta Peddlers, do you want bike lanes along this segment of active transportation program? So we're going to get Class 3 bicycle facilities, which is a decal of a bicycle every once in a while in a 35-mile-an-hour, 12-foot lane. And this is a concern. I spoke with the city manager, and he said, well, we can't change it because it's already out to bid. So we're going to get an active transportation project that is going to be a death trap for bicyclists. This is not good. The people living in East County would love a statement from this organization and CCTA about this active transportation project has to include something for active transportation for bicyclists. The segment of L Street is between Highway 4 and Sycamore Drive. It's a fairly rough neighborhood, but still, we want to be able to have bicyclists use this road. We don't want to lower the speed limit from 35 down to 30 so that we can officially put Class 3 bicycle facilities. It's going to be a 4-lane project, and motorists are going to drive fast without regard to what the posted speed limit is. And the city of Antioch is planning to include bike lanes from Sycamore Drive to the north toward the downtown of Antioch, and there already are bike lanes on the continuation of L Street, which on the west side of Highway 4 is named, I forgot the name of it. At any rate, there are bike lanes there also. So we're only going to get this segment here in the middle that has a death trap indication for bicyclists to go out and fight with the cars for a space on the road. If anybody's interested, I'll send you a email describing in detail the project. I've sent it to Colin.
I'm interested.
Okay, so I'll forward it to Robert and you can forward it, or Colin, would you like to forward that email that I sent concerning the L Street project to everybody on this committee, please?
Yeah, CCTA can make sure that each member receives it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Bruce. Thank you, Colin. Yeah, I'll be on the lookout for that email. Okay, any other committee member comments or other business?
We
Okay.
do have a hand raised, actually.
Okay.
Just one moment.
Hello, thank you for allowing me to make an announcement. I would like to invite you and the community and the public to celebrate the first year anniversary of the McCollum Bridge grand opening. It opened last March 20th, 2024. First anniversary of what we've decided to call the Oli Pass. It's going to in honor of the great commissioner sitting here with you today. It was a great project. It's a great win as far as I see it. And we're going to celebrate it with a bike ride. Everybody's welcome to join. It's going to be March 22nd, starting at 10 a.m. at the Antioch E-BART station, and it will end at 2 p.m. at the Antioch E-BART station as well. Everyone is welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you for that comment. Do you like the, I don't know if that's an unofficial name for the overcrossing? So, okay.
Could I brag about the Ole overpass? The Highway 4 Bypass Authority, as part of their requirements for building the freeway, had to build a passage for each of the 3 bicycle paths that were going to be cut by this freeway. It was the Delta de Anza Trail, the Marsh Creek Trail, and the McCollum Aqueduct Trail. The first 2 had to have a bridge built already, so the designer just built it big enough to get the bicycle to pass underneath the freeway. However, the McCollum Aqueduct is a pipe, and it was underground. And the Highway 4 Bypass Authority pulled the item from the calendar and from the agenda and said, no, we don't want to spend motorist money on bicyclist amenities. So staff immediately went to the City of Brentwood Recreation Department and said, well, we're not going to build a crossing for you right now because you haven't built bike path up to each side of the freeway right away. However, we promise within 1 year of you completing your bike path, we will begin construction of an overcrossing. Now, they could have built an undercrossing, a culvert 14 feet wide, 9 feet tall. They would put dirt on one side, dirt on the other side. Freeway would have gently moved up, crossover, and gently moved down, and the motorist never would have noticed it. That would have cost approximately $1 million. However, the Highway 4 Bypass Authority did not do that, and the bridge ended up costing $13 million. And it took 22 years of my reminding everybody that would listen, hey, you know, we got to build this bridge. Well, CCTA finally took over for the Highway 4 Bypass Authority and got a federal grant and actually built the bridge. So thank you to CCTA. And this, the Ole overpass is an indication that if you just go to public meetings and say, please remember, eventually something happens.
All right. Any other comments on other business, other items? Okay, committee member Byron.
I have an announcement too. The City of El Cerrito, El Cerrito Richmond Annex Walk and Roll, and BART are partnering on the first Go Green mobility fair at the El Cerrito Plaza BART station north parking lot on April 26th. And we'll be getting representatives from AC Transit and BART and other mobility agencies. Well, it'll be a lot of fun. We're going to have music and games, and Bikeys Bay is going to have a family cycling workshop. So, and BART is very interested in sort of this model of doing a mobility fair. This is the first one that we'll be doing in partnership with BART. So I invite everybody to come. It's 11 to 3 on April 26th at El Cerrito Plaza BART.
All right. Thank you. Committee member Riley.
I just wanted to invite people to go look around the El Cerrito Del Norte BART station. So the region has chosen Del Norte BART station and one other station, and I can't remember what the other one was, to be a pilot project for regional standardized signage for transportation. And so there's, you know, it's got a big revamp. There's lots of different types of maps and some really intuitive like BART maps to help you make sure you know which platform you're going on to, as well as signage from the trail, from the parking lot, and all that stuff. And it's just really cool that that site got chosen to be the pilot for this, that they're hopefully going to be unveiling region-wide, not just BART stations, but all transit users. They're going to be looking to use the similar iconography and color schemes and all that stuff to give sort of transit throughout the Bay Area a more unified look and stuff. So you can go see what the pilot looks like at the Del Norte BART station right now.
All right. Thank you. All right. Any other comments before moving on? Okay. Hearing none, next item on the agenda is upcoming subjects for discussion. Do any committee members or staff have any items they'd like to add to a future agenda? Committee member or Vice Chair Weeks.
Thank you, Chair Sarmiento. I don't know if this is something that Member Wilson wants to bring up at this venue at some point, but there is a RFP out for the double tracking of the Iron Horse Trail in San Ramon. I don't know if that's the next meeting. I think that it's definitely getting fast tracked to try to get someone working on some plans. I think this is planning it out, making sure that we have a good plan moving forward. So I'd like to have something come to this committee at some point soon so that everybody could learn about what's going on and get excited about it like the people that are involved are. Do you think that would be a good idea, or is it too early, or what do you think?
I think it's probably a good idea. You know, I spoke with Carl last week or the week before, and it looks like they might even be able to do it through an on-call. So I think it'll be moving pretty quickly. So I think probably they maybe have something to at least tee up the project at our next meeting. Be worth checking in with Carl Runert.
Thank you.
Thanks for bringing that up, Chris.
Of course.
Community member Byron.
I'm new to the committee, but I just wonder if we've considered endorsing 24/7 access to the Richmond-San Rafael Bridge. Is that something that that the committee would consider?
Yeah, I turn to call the staff here. I don't know if that's. I'm I'm not sure if that's something we typically have not done that, so I don't know if that's something we can do, or I guess if you have any response to community.
The item would need to be on an agenda as far as I'm aware, and I met with Vice Chair Weeks on that topic. So I think there may have been some language that was submitted, not necessarily on behalf of CBPAC, but, right, it was more individual, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I think that's right. Sometimes I have a hard time keeping it in and waiting for the right time, but, you know, maybe there's a way to do it. Sorry if I'm hijacking anything here, but maybe there's a way to do it where, you know, we make a broader statement about right to access for cyclists, for everybody, complete bridges across the board. And, you know, looking for a commitment from us that endorses that. Maybe that's less, you know, putting our head in the mouth of the lion there, but if, just a thought, and I don't know if that's something that, I don't think that's a policy of CCTA specifically, but just a thought.
Committee Member Riley.
I was going to suggest a similar topic. So the BCDC received a workshop on kind of the whole bridge issue at their last meeting earlier this month. And then they're going to take another, I guess, 2 months or so to come back to actually vote on the permit, which is kind of the last stop for, you know, if they're going to continue to have that bridge there, BCDC needs to reissue the permit to allow the bridge to stay. And I was wondering if this, I mean, one thing that could be agendized is we could request a workshop, that similar workshop at this body, and then we could provide our comments to it and, you know, provide, you know, our feelings on the issue. I think it's entirely within our purview as the Bicycle Advisory Committee to be advising on these types of issues. So that's one agenda item, is we could request a workshop, the similar type of presentation that BCDC received at their last workshop to just come here and give us the similar, the same type of presentation. And then there's also the toll lane reconfiguration project that I should know more about the timeline, honestly, than I do, but I know that there's funding for it and there's plans for it, but having that come here and talk, because it's going to be reconfiguring the entire approach to the bridge, taking down, you know, the however many lanes, like 8 lanes or whatever of toll, and like putting it down to just 3 lanes of an approach. And the UC Berkeley study that looked at delay on the bridge said that that is what's causing the backup for the most part. It's not that there's a bike lane on there, it's that this huge, you know, 8 lanes have to merge down into 2 to get on there or whatever. And so WCTAC came out with a statement like 2 years ago now at this point, maybe, saying that the board felt that the bike lane should remain at least until that project gets completed and see if that alleviates a lot of those things. So I think that could be a potential other agenda item that we would have come review, is like, what is that lane configuration? How is bike access worked into that, you know, lane, you know, reconfiguration? This is gonna be a, you know, pretty big project in West County. Those are my 2 ideas for having that, and I definitely think it's appropriate for us to talk about the bridge. It's you know, it's in Contra Costa, and we're the Contra Costa Bike Advisory Committee. So, and then I just had one other for the pedestrian part of our purview. I'm really just interested in AB 413, the daylighting law that went into effect this year. That's the law that says that you can't park a car within 20 feet of any marked or unmarked crosswalk, and you can be ticketed if it's painted or not painted. And so that seems like one of the bigger pedestrian safety bills to have passed, at least in recent memory for me. And it's going to reconfigure a lot of neighborhoods and how people park, and, you know, like you were saying, whenever there's, you know, any kind of project that comes through and we have to remove 1 parking space to make the whole thing. No, you can't remove any. Well, this took a lot of parking out and it passed and stuff. And so it's a pretty bold measure, which hopefully will make streets a lot safer for people that are going there. But it's going to be a lot for the cities, I think, to have to think about painting and signage and, do we need to mark more crosswalks now so that it's clear? Like, so I don't know. I don't even know who would present that or not, but it's definitely something that I'm definitely interested in. And I think it's going to have a big impact on our cities for pedestrian issues. So anyway, I'll stop.
Councilmember Byron?
So I appreciate that, Corey, and I think that I would love for us to have a workshop on the Richmond-San Rafael Bridge and all the other topics you mentioned. And I just would hope that we could also take a position on it as well. A workshop, and at some point, just decide what we think about it.
Yeah, and I think the timing before the March BCDC vote is probably, well, because we only meet every other month, so hopefully it works out.
Okay, any other items for upcoming discussion? Okay, seeing none, so move to the last item on the agenda, which is adjournment. This meeting is adjourned by the clock here, 12:55. Our next regular meeting is proposed for Monday, March 24, 2025 at 11 a.m. Same location here. All right, thank you all.